here's an important one. How do we get our family members to understand the value of our prospecting time? If you interrupt me prospecting, I may not hit my goal. Can you support me in that? I'll show you what's active and on the market right now and not selling, which is instructive. We'll also have pictures so that we can compare apples to apples. And the reason this is instructive is because we're gonna be able to see what sellers are listed for and what prices they're at, and it's not working. And you see, we can learn from their mistakes. You guys, I want you to hear my voice, look away for a second, and I want you to hear my voice and tell me if you hear a difference. Just look away from me. All right, I want you guys to do this form every time that you prospect. I want you guys to do this form every time that you prospect. Which way would you want is more motivating to you? You know what the difference was?
The tone.
You know where the tone came from? I was smiling when I spoke. You heard the difference. That's all I did. Watch. Guys, I want you to do this form every time when we prospect. You see my face right now, right? Guys, I want you to do this form every time when we prospect. You see that comes out over the phone. Is this body language? So we can use that on the phone, right? Because people will perceive like our body language in our communication, and yet we do lose that over the phone. So we want to keep that. So then what becomes more important? If we lose body language, then what do we have? If 7% is communication, what do we have to really, really rely on then?
Tonality.
Tonality, right. So what do I mean by tonality? So you've heard me talk about, do you know what an upswing is and what a downswing is, right? An upswing creates doubt, downswing creates confidence in what I'm saying, right? So it might be like, I want you to tell me which doctor you want to do this surgery for you, okay? Number 1 or number 2? Myra, you're gonna have a surgery and come into my office and everything's gonna be okay. We'll get you scheduled, okay? Myra, you have to have a surgery. I want you to come in my office, we'll get you scheduled and everything is gonna be okay. Which doctor? The second one, right? You heard the power and the authority in the downswing. It's just that slight difference in the tonality. We can use this to our advantage. If we want to create doubt, we're gonna use what? An upswing, right? How did you happen to pick the last agent that you listed with? I wanna create doubt in that statement. How did you pick them? Maybe there's something that you chose wrong, right? Versus most often when people make a choice to hire me, they make the right decision. Now that's a downswing, right? So as we're speaking and we want to come across with confidence, we want to end all of our sentences and our phrases with a downswing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what does that mean to you guys? Close, close, and then close again.
I mean, that not only call them to say, hey, you know, oh, you want their business.
Right.
You want to help them. So ask them for the opportunity to lease that property or, so, you know, ask for the business.
Ask for the business. Exactly correct. Now,
Follow the pipelines.
pardon?
Saying like remember to close all these pipelines.
Yes, we absolutely want to do that, Myra. You're correct. And what you want to consider is, here's a gauge that I use. Did you ever get to the end of the call, or you get to a point in the call and you're just like, there's a question that I really need to ask them, but internally I'm like, I just don't feel like I can ask them that question. Have you ever experienced that when you're working with a client? That's what that statement there means, right there. Whenever we have the thought, oh gosh, I know I need to ask this question, but I can't ask the question. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what that means. It means ask. If you feel uncomfortable about asking another question, guess what we gotta do? We've gotta ask that question. So we need to lean into that discomfort. And Myra, it could be those 5 points. We might not have all clarity, and yet that's the thing that I do need to ask them.
Yeah, like I forgot to ask the motivation.
Right, exactly. If we don't ask motivation, we hang up the phone and we're like, what was that conversation? Am I supposed to call them back? Do you get what I'm saying? And if we're not asking that question, let's go one deeper. Why? Usually for me, it's because one of 2 reasons. I forgot, or I don't feel that I'm worthy to ask them that question. In other words, let's say a selling situation with someone and they say, I need to sell my house. Okay, great. What's important about selling your house? I'm going through some emotional times right now with my family, and it's just not good for us to keep this house. Now, if someone says that, what do you think's actually happening? Going through some things with my family, and I need to do something. It's not good for us to have this house. They're probably going through a divorce, or there's some turmoil in the family. Wouldn't it be helpful? So you need to sell the house, you're going through some things with your family. Tell me a little bit more about that. That's another question, right? If someone said that I'm going through some things with my family and we just got to sell, would it feel a little uncomfortable maybe to ask that next question? It's possible, right? Is it our job to ask it?
Yes.
We owe that to them. The more that we know about what's important to them, what happens then? Is it easier or harder for us to help them? It's easier for us to help them. And it's also easier for us to close them. So that's what that means. Do you guys get it? When we reach a point in our sales process where internally we're saying, oh, there's another question I've got to ask them, but I can't ask them. We need to lean in and we need to ask that question. If you think about it from that perspective, you just had, let's say if we were on the phones prospecting and a family member showed up, they're interrupting our prospecting time. So here's an important one. How do we get our family members to understand the value of our prospecting time?
Let them know that this is going to be, that we're not going to be available for them.
If I told Derek, I'm not going to be available, and he doesn't know why it's important for me to be in there doing it, right? Remember our why in our business plan? Versus now, if we discuss our why with our family members, if I say, Derek, if I hit my goal this year and we get to the numbers and I get 60 listings this year, that we're gonna be able to spend 2 weeks on a cruise in Europe. Now, Derek, if you interrupt me prospecting, I may not hit my goal. You see now where that makes it another level. Include your family members. Kids, I know you like to take your kids on trips. You take them one at a time, right? You make them feel special. You'll take your son or you'll take your daughter. I remember that, right? When you're doing your business planning for the next year, kids, if I hit my goal next year, we're gonna have the ability to do a vacation. Where do you wanna go? Oh, we wanna go blah, 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 blah. Or what would you like to get? Well, I wanna get a new jet ski for the lake. In order for that to happen this year, I may absolutely need to stay. I have to stay on my prospecting schedule. And I may need to take 1 or 2 Saturdays a month and go in for 2 hours and do lead follow-up. If I do that and I hit my goal, then this will happen. Can you support me in that? So do you hear now how getting your family involved in our goals, why then they might not even show up. It might be, I'm not going to go to the office. I don't want to disturb him because I want to go on vacation and I can handle this. There's the difference. Set our family members up to support us through this process. They can help us. All right. So Myra, if I was to do some research to determine, realistically what the highest paying retail buyers would pay for, a home like you have, and then net bottom line, what you could expect to receive after the sale, is that information that would help you? If I was to put this information together and we were to have a brief meeting, either via Zoom or I could meet you at the property, would afternoons or evenings be better for you?
In the mornings.
Oh, in the mornings. Okay.
Yes.
I can do mornings on Saturday. Would that be a fit for you this coming Saturday?
Perfect.
Okay, and if we did Saturday at like say 10 a.m., would that be a fit for you?
Yes, 10 a.m. is perfect.
Okay, awesome. So Myra, I have a great deal of respect for you and your investment of time. So before I come out, do you have just a moment that I might go through a handful of questions so that I could be most prepared and efficient with your time? Okay, all right, great. So Myra, I've only spoken to you. Are there any other decision makers or anybody else that's going to be on title to the property that you believe would want to be part of this conversation when we get together?
No, I'm the only one taking the decision.
All right, awesome. So it sounds like you're going to be the only one on title and the only decision maker. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning to interview more than myself for the job of selling the home?
Depends.
Okay. Well, in terms of, what you guys have been looking for as a family, and my intention, again, provided the opportunity, is to do a great job for you specifically. So what qualities are you going to be looking for in the agent that you do hire to help? What's important to you, Myra?
Who can give me the most money?
Okay.
In my property.
Okay, so it sounds like getting you top market price. Okay. Is there anything else that would be really important to you?
Communication with my agent.
Okay. So I'm hearing good communication. Great. And so what I'm hearing then is somebody that has a professional integrity to just be straightforward and honest with you. let you know what it's going to take to get it done. And then also someone that can show you the net sheet, look out for your good interest and get you the top market price.
Okay.
Perfect. Great. So now I'm very familiar with your geographic area. I'm sure that your home is in really good condition. I'm not being too straightforward. Was there any particular reason, that your family was deciding to sell this as opposed to maybe keeping it as a second home or maybe as a rental?
No. I just want to sell the house.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like it's just time to get it sold. And then, I'm curious, if we had the home sold in the next 30 to 45 days, would that pose a problem for you?
No.
Okay. Okay, great. Now, and then I'll be preparing a net sheet for you so that you can see, dollars and cents, where it'll be and what you'll end up with after the sale. Is there anything still owed on the home, or do you own the property outright?
No, we still own like 160.
About 160? Okay, got it. And so we definitely have some equity to protect there. And then I'm curious, and then are you gonna need any help in terms of getting the property up and ready for market? Any repairs done, or perhaps the property cleared out and ready for market?
No, the roof is old, totally old, and the insurance they don't want to change, and I don't want to change anything else of the house.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is ideally your preference would be to just sell the home as is.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm writing down as is, and that's fine. We sell homes as is all the time. I guess I'm curious, if you knew that by putting a roof on the property, you would actually get a return on your investment, or you would get more money than you would be spending on the roof, would you be open to talking about how that could work for you?
Yeah, but I don't have the money now.
Okay, I understand. Sometimes I've got roofers that will actually take the roof amount, what it costs for the roof, out of selling proceeds. And if that could bring you more than the actual, like let's say if the roof cost $20,000 and it could bring you maybe another $30,000 or $40,000, would you be open to hearing about that?
If I can pay the closing, because honestly I don't have that money.
Okay, my goal and my intention is to help you maximize your price. So we can talk about that when we meet. And then now I'm wondering, in this case, you strike me to be someone who pays attention. You're obviously savvy. You've probably done a little homework in preparation for going on the market, maybe even gone online and looked at some of the home valuation sites and stuff like that. Did you have any idea at all of realistically what you were thinking of in terms of price?
Well, I was checking Zillow, and my neighbor house that was sold recently, and I saw they sold for 450.
Okay,
So my house is better.
okay.
The only thing is the roof, but honestly, I think I can do it better than 450.
Okay, so great. Well, my intention, provided the opportunity, is to help you maximize value and also to get you every penny possible. Myra, I'm also 100% committed to providing you with the most accurate information and earning your business with integrity. Sharing with you what's realistic versus promising you the moon and then not being able to deliver on that promise. So in the information that I'll be sending you, amongst other things, I'm going to be sending you an attachment. That attachment will have comparables. I'll show you what's active and on the market right now and not selling, which is instructive. We'll also have pictures so that we can compare apples to apples. And the reason this is instructive is because we're going to be able to see what sellers are listed for and what prices they're at, and it's not working. And you see, we can learn from their mistakes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good,
I
Myra.
understand that.
The second data point that I'll share with you, it's what sold and closed most recently, like in the last 6 months or a year. And what they had to offer, the features and benefits of that property. So then we're going to be able to determine together as a team, Myra, not a pinpoint to the penny number, but instead a very tight, realistic range as to what's going to be reasonable with regards to price. Now, I realize up until this point, I've just been a voice over the phone. So with your permission, I'm going to text or I can email to you a link to my client reviews. We have over 125-star reviews. Please feel free to check them out. Then you'll get a flavor for what clients are saying about our level of service.